scientific study of Vedas, creation of universe, starting from Brahma. So, all the creation processes starting from Brahman. Brahman is the first thing that was available at the time of creation, nothing else. That is without any quality or anything like that. From this, a force came out and flows in the form of waves, and called due to combination of different waves, these meeting points are called ankyrases, that are stationary state. So it can be treated as the first particles, fundamental particles or ether like particles that formed due to the joining of two types of crossing of two types of waves in opposite direction. So fundamental parts are formed. Then we have seen that with the compressing these particles, that means electrons and protons, a nucleus is formed. It contains proton and neutron, which formed from the combination of electron and proton. So it is neutral. Electron is negative charge, proton is positive charge. When combining together, form neutron. So the nucleus is formed, that is Rudra. So this nucleus contains positively charged proton and neutron without charge. So the nucleus is positively charged. Since everything is in dual and neutral, it requires a negative charge which is possessed by the electron. So electrons are to be placed around it. That is the first model of atom that was suggested. The first model was nucleus at the center and an equal number of electrons. If there are 10 protons, 10 electrons are kept in orbit around the nucleus. But that model fails because if electron kept at there, it will fall into the nucleus. That is presented in a story form in Puranas, and that story is the curse of Durvasa Maharshi, Rishi. That also we have seen so far. So the creation of universe failed because first atom is to be formed, then only combining atom other things can be formed, and finally the universe. But the first model fails. So atom failed to form theoretically. So Devas and Asuras, these are two forces. Deva is the creative force, and as per Newton's third law, or Deva is the Rajoguna, and as per the Newton's third law, there is an reaction, that is the negative wave, that is called Tamoguna, and at the meeting point there is Sattva-guna, that is particle, that can act as a particle at that point because that is steady state, that is as per Newton's first law, Sattva-guna. So in this story, the creative force is called God or Devas, and the negative is called reaction is called Asura or Daman. So as per Newton's third law, these two are there all at all times. As per Veda also, if there is Rajoguna, there is Tamoguna. Everything is dual in nature. So these two forces are, so these the Devas and Asuras decided to churned the ocean. Ocean means at the initial state of creation there was only wave and fundamental particles here and there. Now there is nucleus also. Nucleus also is there throughout this universe. Different types of nucleus, small, big, different types that we can see later in detail. So Indra failed to create the atom. So Devas go to, because this is falling due to the action of Indra want to keep the electron outside, but due to attraction, that means due to the action of Daman, it attracts the electron and falls in the nucleus. So the attempt Indra to form the atom is failed. So they met the other force, Vishnu, and Vishnu suggested to churn the ocean. Or Brahma, in certain others, Brahma. Brahma also, Brahma is the force which is responsible for creative action, creation of all this universe. So they suggested to churn the ocean. That is, ocean contains waves, particles and the nucleus. This is to be churned. Churned means that word come from churning of milk. By churning milk, milk is in this materials, everything is uniformly distributed. If we churn it, butter will come out. So rearrangement of these particles in the milk take place and butter will come out. Likewise, in this universe there is only particles and the nucleus, and it is to be churned. Then atoms and everything will come out. Everything will come out. How? That we can see in the next class. But something will come out. So, as per Matsya Purana, both the Devas and Devas went to Padala Loka and meet Bali. Bali is the Lord of the Daman Lord. Because these two are required for any action, because in every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So what all things taken place in this universe, what all actions taken place in this universe, there is these two forces, creative force and a destructive force. These two are acting together, by which an intermediate position is reaching. If we are pulling this from one, it will go in this way. If there is opposition, it will, if it is only this one, it will go this way. If we try to pull this way and at the same time there is a reactive force, it will pull in this. That is why a steady state is required. We want steady state. Sattva Guna, Newton's first law. So, whenever there is any action, these two are interacting together. The action and reaction is there. So Deva, wherever Devas are trying to create something, an atom, some create something like say atom. In demons are opposing it, and due to the interaction of these two, a intermediate item is formed. That is this atom. So churning of ocean means there is two forces. Definitely there is. Both the Devas and Asuras are required, God and Daman are required. So Bali also agreed, and both of them together churned the ocean. That means in this universe there was only fundamental particles and nucleus. So it is comparing with the churning of milk. To churn the milk, we require a central thing around which it is moving. So in this story it is mentioned as Mandara Parvata, but actually what it is the nucleus. Nucleus already formed. This nucleus, that is solid form. That it can be say in the story as Mandara Parvata. It is like a mountain. When compared with this electron and other particle, this is big. So this can be treated as a, this nucleus is big. Electron are negligible size. Only this ocean contains waves and such particles. At the same time, there are this big particle formed due to the combination of electron and proton. And this is termed as a, it is like a parvata. When parvata means mountain. Like a mountain when compared with other particles. So, in this story it may be represented, but we want it is only to say that it is a big thing. Like this Mandara mountain. So, this is actually the nucleus. So, this nucleus, keeping this nucleus as center, this other particles, major particle is electron. These are to be rotated around it. All the protons formed the nucleus. All protons in this universe form different types of nucleus in the earlier step. Now electrons are there. These electrons are to be churned around this Mandara pounder or this nucleus. So churning means, in churning the milk, we want a thread. Here, this orbit is the thread. This orbital energy is trying to turn around it. And energy is going in that way, turning the electron along this orbit. This energy is moving in a circular path of this central Mandara mountain or nucleus. So this energy moving in the circular orbit, that forms the orbit. That is moving electron along it, around the nucleus. That energy is the thread for churning this ocean. So energy is represented by snake in this story. In this story, what we can easily understand is snake. Snake is in the form of wave. Wave also is represented by a snake in the story. So snake is poison also. This is poison also. This energy is very powerful. That is why it is represented by a snake in the story. That snake is named Vasuki. So using Vasuki snake as the churning thread, and this nucleus Mandara mountain as the central thing, this ocean is to be turned around it. There are a number of parvatas there. There are number of nucleus there. Or with the center of that one, there are a number of churnings are taking place in this universe. But the problem is, there arises a problem. This particle is wandering here. This nucleus thus formed so far is wandering here and there. But to turn it around it should be kept in steady form. These are technical things. To churn around anything, this should be kept in a steady position. In the milk, we are churning at a particular, keeping it at a particular position. If we in this way churn, it will not take place. So the first step required is keep the churning mountain or nucleus at a steady state. Then only it can be, electron can be churned around it. So this is going before churning, it is going down. This Mandara Pavaroda is going down. So there act another force to keep it stationary. That is the duty of the other force, Vishnu. So Vishnu came there in the form of a tortoise. So this is tortoise is the second incarnation of Vishnu. First incarnation is fish to create, give sides based on which these operations are going to take place. So he take that Vedas or science and give it to Brahma, who is creating this universe. Now, to create this nucleus atom, this nucleus is to be kept constant. So Indra take the form of a tortoise. This is in the story. Actually, we know what is a force is required to keep it at a fixed state. Then only churning is possible. So in this, Vishnu take the form of a tortoise and hold the nucleus. In this story, it may be Mandara Parvata, and churning take place with this thread. This thread is in the form of an orbit. It is moving in the form of an orbit. That energy is, there is an energy which is moving around this nucleus, along which it forces the electron to move. Energy is required for the movement of this electron. So it is forcing this electron to move along this circular path, along in a circular path. That is the orbit. Thus atom is formed. Why tortoise? The reason is simple. Because thus atoms are going to form. See the structure of atom. Nucleus, electrons are there around it. In tortoise also, central nucleus. Thus, this is the atom and this is the tortoise. Almost similar. At the center, nucleus, an electron revolving around it in special orbit, that is electron. Likewise, this is the central nucleus, and electron is these things. Almost similar in appearance. In these orbits are also called shells as per modern science. This is also shell. Why such this happened, I don't know. This is shell, but this orbit also are called shells. So they want to explain us the shape of the atom. So they are using a method by which they are comparing it with a similar object in the common objects or things in the universe. So this atom is almost like the structure wise it is similar to like that tortoise. That is why they called the presented tortoise as the second incarnation of Vishnu, that force which kept this nucleus in steady form so that turning is possible around it, and thus atoms are formed. And this turning, different types of atoms are formed. Either is one proton at the center, one electron is revolving around it, and likewise if there are two electrons, likewise a number of atoms are formed. So this atom then combined with other things, turning operation continues. From this different things are going to come out that we can see in the next class.